is safe despite attempts by hackers to gain access to the platform, the e-platform. Now, CS Owalo, who was appearing on Spice FM, further refuted claims by hacker group Anonymous Sudan that they had gained control of back-end systems, insisting that the attack was a distributed denial of service DOD. Now, the DOD's attack is a cyber attack that denies users access to a server or network by overloading it with requests.
We have now all these services coming onto eCitizen.
Yes.
Mheshimiwa, eCitizen was hacked this week.
Oh, yes. And to me, that is not strange, because cyber attack is predominant the world over. We cannot stop digitizing our records and digitalizing our services because we are risk averse. What we need to put in place is an elaborate risk mitigation framework, which we are ready for anyway. There was an attack. We are addressing that. We are not just coming up with instant remedial measures to address the current situation. We are ensuring that around this digitalization space, we will build an elaborate risk mitigation framework for purposes of sustainable digitalization.
What does this attack look like, this latest one?
This latest one, what they did is that they tried jamming the system by making more than ordinary requests into the system. Yeah. It started by slowing down the system. Yeah. And then we addressed it.
So they haven't been able to access our personal information?
No data has been accessed. No data has been lost. Okay. Now, we have been proactive in that space as well, Eric. What we did, because we had foreseen this, we have established and operationalized the Office of the Data Commissioner and anchored it on law, to ensure that they execute the mandate of both data privacy on one hand and data security on the other. Apart from the Office of the Data Commissioner, we have also constituted a multifaceted team within government whose mandate is to ensure that in a proactive manner they are constantly monitoring the trends globally in cybersecurity, picking lessons from there, discerning the best case practices as far as mitigation against cybersecurity is concerned, and putting in place an appropriate risk mitigation measure. It is an entity that is continuously scanning the operational environment to determine the trends of cyber insecurity and making sure that locally here within the country we have an appropriate and an elaborate risk mitigation measure.
I want to ask a question before my colleagues come in. But still on this one of the cyber attack on eCitizen.
Yes.
You are also in charge of information and communication. Communication is big.
Yes.
Now, what of course happens is if I wanted to renew my driving license, to apply for a good certificate of good conduct, to apply for a new business permit, or all those services that are available on eCitizen, I try once, I find it's not going through, I think it's my data connection, I'll try again.
Yes.
So many of us will keep trying to refresh the page and exacerbating the problem, which is what the hackers wanted.
Yes.
Would it have been prudent for the Ministry of Information to communicate to the public, everybody please don't access eCitizen until we tell you to?
Yes, and this is what we are doing this today, because we are actually, forget about the first, even last evening, we had a similar challenge, which our technical people are addressing today. Communication is good, but communication also has to be strategic. There's a difference between communication and strategic communication. Strategic communication gives you the desired results. We need to commensurately communicate to the public, tell them what has happened, what we are doing, and what the framework we are putting in place moving into the future. But what I can assure Kenyans is that there is no cause for alarm. We have got adequate capacity to address issues of cyber insecurity. And in this process also, we are learning. Just like anybody else, we are benchmarking with best case practices globally as far as cyber insecurity is concerned. We have been in touch with India to see what they are doing in this space. We have been in touch with Israel. We are also enhancing our capacity within government. I don't want to say that we are perfect, because we should also be honest. We are enhancing our level of capacity within government to be able to mitigate against.
Now, workers' unions are now calling for the cancellation of power purchasing agreement that have been blamed for the